You know what really makes me grumpy? The whole Nintendo 64 is better than PlayStation because it has less games argument. I don't know exactly how I'm going to name this video, but if it's already out and you're watching it, then you already know the title. Now before I start, let me be clear and say there's a lot of games I enjoy on N64, so it's nothing against the system itself or the games. It's more so against the Nintendo fanboys who scrape the bottom of the barrel to try and say they're better than someone else. Now to give a little more context, what people mean when they say it's better because it has less games is because it's more likely that you've played the same game as someone else and you can build a friendship on that because you relate or something like that. I can understand what they mean by that, but it's still a really stupid argument. Sure, it's more likely that they bought one of the big names, but not everyone who got it got Mario 64 or Banjo-Kazooie or any of those big names, Star Fox 64, Super Smash Brothers. They could have got it just to play one of the generic sports games like Madden or one of the golf games. Just because the PS1 had significantly more games on it, that doesn't mean that it can't bring people together to discuss things. I mean, a lot of people who bought PlayStation also bought Crash Bandicoot and Spyro and some other big names. Not everyone did, but a lot of people did. It really all depends on what you like. It doesn't matter how many games are on a system. But let's just use that logic real quick. So I guess what they're saying is that the NES and SNES aren't as good as N64 because they have a lot more games. But hey, you know what's even better than N64 by that logic? The Atari Jaguar. I mean, it had a lot less games. It had less than 100 games on it. So it must be better because people more likely played the same games on that system. They could come together and discuss it. So it's probably better than N64 by that logic. And you know what? There are game systems out there that had even less games than that, and so they must be better than... Do you hear how dumb this sounds? Just because a game system has less games than another doesn't make it better just because you can discuss it with somebody because it's more likely they played the same thing. And I mean, opinions differ. I mean, what if you played the same game as somebody else, but you liked it and they hated it? Now, I'm not about to sit here and say it's actually the opposite and that the PlayStation is better because it has more games. That's not what I'm saying. It is great to have more options than another game system, but the games still have to be good and appeal to you. Both PlayStation and Nintendo 64 had both really great games and really terrible games. So bottom line, N64 isn't better because of less games. That's really stupid logic, and it just makes me grumpy.